The war in Ukraine has entered a new phase, a chapter marked by rapid escalation and technological innovation. The front lines, once defined by trenches and artillery, are now shaped by the constant threat from above. The battle for control of the skies has become more critical than ever, with both sides racing to outmaneuver and outgun each other in the air. Sophisticated drones, long-range missiles, and advanced fighter jets now shape the conflict, introducing new tactics and dangers. Unmanned aerial vehicles scout enemy positions, launch surprise attacks, and gather vital intelligence, while modern jets scramble to intercept threats at a moment's notice. Every aerial move carries life-or-death consequences for those below, as cities and villages are caught in the crossfire. The sound of air raid sirens has become a grim part of daily life for millions. For Ukraine, striking deep behind enemy lines disrupts Russia's military machine, sending a powerful message and forcing the enemy to divert resources. Targeting airbases and supply depots weakens Russia's ability to launch attacks, and each successful strike shifts the balance, even if only for a moment. Russia, in turn, uses its air power to terrorize cities and support ground troops, unleashing waves of missiles and bombs that devastate infrastructure and shatter lives. The cycle of attack and retaliation in the air has made the war more dangerous and unpredictable, with each side adapting quickly to new threats and technologies. Recent events, a Ukrainian drone strike on a key Russian airbase, executed with precision and daring, followed by a massive Russian counterattack, demonstrate how quickly the situation can escalate, and how each action provokes a swift and often brutal response. These incidents highlight this deadly new chapter, where the front lines are constantly shifting and the stakes are higher than ever. The air war is where technology, strategy, and human cost collide, as commanders make split-second decisions that can alter the course of the conflict. Here, the struggle for survival and sovereignty is defined not just by firepower, but by resilience and determination in the face of relentless danger. As we examine these strikes and counterstrikes, it's clear, air superiority is now a decisive factor, shaping the fate of entire regions and the lives of countless civilians. The outcome of the war is increasingly being decided high above Ukraine's battlefields, where every sortie, every missile, and every drone could tip the balance in this historic struggle. On July 5, 2025, Ukraine executed one of its most daring operations yet, a meticulously planned drone attack on the Borysoglebsk airfield, a site deep within Russian territory that had long been considered untouchable. The airfield is located in the heart of Russia's Voronezh region, hundreds of kilometers from the Ukrainian border, making this strike a bold demonstration of Ukraine's expanding reach and technological prowess. Borysoglebsk was no ordinary target. The base housed some of Russia's most advanced fighter jets, including Su-34 and Su-35 aircraft, which had been used in relentless bombing campaigns against Ukrainian cities and infrastructure. For months, these jets had launched devastating attacks, making the airfield a top priority for Ukrainian planners. In the early hours, a swarm of long-range Ukrainian drones descended on the airfield, evading Russian air defenses. The resulting explosions and fires lit up the night sky, with satellite images later confirming significant damage to the base's runways and facilities. Ukraine's objective was clear, not only to destroy the jets themselves, but also to target the bombs, missiles, and ammunition stockpiles stored at the site. By crippling these resources, Ukraine aimed to severely limit Russia's ability to launch future airstrikes. This operation signaled a major shift in Ukrainian strategy, from simply defending its own territory to proactively striking at the very sources of Russian air power. Ukrainian commanders spent weeks gathering intelligence and planning the attack, determined to send a powerful message. The Borysoglebsk strike was just one part of a much larger coordinated drone campaign. On the same night, Ukrainian drones targeted at least 6 Russian regions, hitting military-industrial sites, airfields, and supply depots in a sweeping effort to disrupt Russia's war machine. Ukraine's approach is now systematic and relentless, aiming to degrade Russia's ability to wage war by striking at its logistical and industrial routes far from the front lines. The message to Moscow and the world was unmistakable. Nowhere in Russia is beyond the reach of Ukrainian ingenuity and determination. Even the most secure sites can be targeted. The Borysoglebsk attack stands as the centerpiece of this bold new strategy, marking a turning point in the conflict and showcasing Ukraine's resolve to take the fight directly to the heart of Russian military power. Russia's response was immediate and overwhelming. a massive aerial assault described as one of the war's largest. Hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles targeted Ukrainian cities and infrastructure, with Russia launching over 530 weapons in a single night. The barrage included nearly 480 Shahed drones and 60 missiles, aiming to punish Ukraine, overwhelm its air defenses and cripple its war-making capacity. Air raid sirens blared as millions of Ukrainians took shelter, enduring hours of explosions and anti-aircraft fire. Russia's strategy retaliate with brute force, hoping to deter future Ukrainian strikes and project strength after its own losses. The attack was a stark reminder of Russia's formidable arsenal and willingness to use it indiscriminately. For Ukrainian civilians, this is the grim reality, living under the constant threat of Russian air power. The cycle of escalation in the skies continues to define the war's brutality. As Russian missiles and drones rained down, Ukraine's defenders deployed their newest asset, American-made F-16 fighter jets. Flown by Ukrainian pilots trained in the West, the F-16S joined ground-based systems like Patriot and Iris-T to intercept the onslaught. The results were impressive. Over 85% of incoming threats were shot down, with F-16S credited for dozens of drone kills. These jets bring advanced radar and Western missiles, allowing Ukrainian pilots to engage threats from greater distances. The F-16S make Russian operations near Ukrainian airspace riskier and provide a mobile defense platform, but numbers are limited, and the environment remains perilous for Ukrainian pilots. The F-16S are a game-changer but not a silver bullet. The struggle for air superiority is far from over. Their arrival marks a turning point, but the challenges ahead remain immense. Amid the chaos and uncertainty of war, one story rose above the rest. Lieutenant Colonel Maxim Ustimenko, a Ukrainian F-16 pilot, became a symbol of heroism and sacrifice for his country. His courage and determination would soon inspire a nation under siege. During a massive and relentless Russian attack, Ustimenko took to the skies, facing overwhelming odds. In a single harrowing mission, he shot down 7 enemy targets, demonstrating extraordinary skill and bravery. His actions saved countless lives on the ground, turning the tide of battle and giving hope to those who watched from below. But heroism often comes at a great cost. Ustimenko's jet was critically damaged in the fierce combat. With his aircraft trailing smoke and losing altitude, he faced a terrible choice. Instead of ejecting over a densely populated residential area, he made the ultimate sacrifice, steering his crippled plane away from civilians, ensuring their safety even as he risked his own life. Ustimenko's final act was one of extraordinary bravery and selflessness. He chose the lives of others over his own, embodying the highest ideals of service and duty. His sacrifice left a lasting mark on all who heard his story. News of his heroism spread quickly, and his sacrifice became a rallying point for Ukraine. People across the country honored his memory, seeing in him the courage and selflessness that define the nation's defenders. His story united communities and inspired countless others to stand strong. Stories like Ustimenko's remind us of the human cost of war and the incredible heroism that emerges in its darkest moments. His actions highlight the bravery, camaraderie, and sacrifice at the heart of the air war, and the deep bonds shared by those who serve. Ustimenko's legacy continues to inspire both his fellow pilots and the nation he died protecting. His memory lives on in the hearts of those who fly, fight, and hope for a better future. In the skies over Ukraine, individual acts of valor like his can change the course of battle, shaping the destiny of a nation and inspiring generations to come. Lieutenant Colonel Maxim Ustimenko's name will be remembered as a true hero of this new chapter in the war, a symbol of hope, courage, and unwavering dedication to his people. In the aftermath, leaders on both sides responded swiftly. President Zelensky praised Ukraine's air defenders and mourned Ustimenko, while urging Western partners for more air defense systems and F-16S. He warned that Russia's campaign of terror would continue unless Ukraine received more support. Russia, meanwhile, boasted about the success of its retaliatory strikes, seeking to project strength after the embarrassment of losing a key airbase. Ukraine's military framed its own strike as a necessary move to undermine Russia's war potential. Both sides doubled down on their strategies, showing no sign of compromise. The rhetoric revealed a deepening resolve and a promise of more conflict in the skies. The war's escalation is now driven as much by words as by weapons. These air battles are more than just attacks, they're a strategic chess match shaping the war's future. Ukraine's strikes on Russian airbases aim to destroy the jets, launching deadly glide bombs, shifting from defense to proactive disruption. Russia's massive barrages serve to terrorize civilians and exhaust Ukraine's limited air defense resources. Each side adapts. Ukraine leverages long-range strikes to force Russia's assets further back, while Russia tries to overwhelm and deplete Ukraine's defenses. The outcome of this aerial duel will influence momentum on the battlefield and the morale of both nations. Technology, strategy, and industrial capacity are now as important as bravery. The skies have become the war's most decisive front. The next moves in this air war will shape the conflict's trajectory. The escalation in the air war drew immediate international concern. Poland, a NATO member, scrambled jets to protect its airspace, highlighting the risk of the conflict spilling over. The US watched closely as Ukraine's urgent calls for more air defense systems grew louder amid pauses in Western arms deliveries. Sanctions struggles continue, with Western components still found in Russian weapons, raising questions about enforcement. The world reacts with condemnation and support, but struggles to shape events on the ground. The air war's volatility is a stark reminder of the conflict's global implications. The future of the war will be shaped by long-range strikes, advanced technology, and the battle for air superiority. Ukraine's strategy of hitting deep inside Russia is likely to expand as it gains more drones and Western weapons. Russia will continue its campaign of massive air attacks, aiming to exhaust Ukraine's defenses and morale. The supply of air defense systems and F-16s will be crucial. Ukraine's survival depends on keeping pace with Russian production. The loss of pilots like Ustimenko underscores the risks and sacrifices ahead. Neither side is backing down. The war is set to become a prolonged contest of attrition in the skies. The outcome will depend on technology, strategy, and the courage of those fighting for their homeland. The world can only hope for peace before the cost of this aerial war grows even higher.